Hi, welcome to the coaching game. Tonight my guest is Janique Svedberg. How you doing, Janique?
I am good. Thank you for having me here.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I am dying to, first of all, we just spent half an hour catching up with each other because we haven't seen each other, and she's off to Sweden in what, a couple of days?
Yeah, in a couple of days. I'm first going to Savannah, Georgia, and then Sweden.
Okay. Hey.
Just making it up.
Well, I'm not a travel agent. What do I know? But Janique has been on this show before, and every time she's on the show, there's something new that she's done that's amazing. Yeah. This time, it's a book. Say it in Sweden, and then I'll tell them what it means.
Okay, in Sweden it's blod, droger och rock'n'roll.
Oh my goodness. Sounds like a dish of food. It's really blood, sweat, and rock and roll. It's blood, sweat, no
drugs.
blood, drugs, and rock and roll. Yes. Yeah. And it's a biography, believe it or not. And you won't be surprised when I tell you that she's also a recovery coach. It's an addiction?
Yeah,
addiction
it's called recovery coach now.
Recovery coach, yeah. And she's going over to Sweden, but I'll let her tell you all about that to set up some great things. Yeah. So what we're going to do, and Janique is one of the few people I would do this with, is she's going to draw a card, because this is a show based on the marvelous points of view game here. And she's going to draw a card, and then we're just going to take it from there and see where we end up going. But first, tell us a little bit about how you came about to become, how you became about to become a recovery coach. Yeah, how did that happen?
Yeah, my story, as I wrote about in my biography, is coming from Sweden when I was very young into the rock and roll world in New York City when I was about 17. Whoa. And started with drugs and rock and roll and liquor and all of that things.
Whatever was available.
Exactly. It was free and it was all over. And then I was on tour for 10 years, and then after those 10 years I decided to open up an art gallery, and I did that not just in New York but in Hong Kong. And I also
I didn't know that. I always find out something, yeah. And one more thing that I didn't know, yes.
And then I had my own boutique as well, Janique Boutique. So I was always a doer, which kind of brought me to my knees because it was never a dull moment. I just had everything going, and I had a lot of problems with alcohol and pain medications. And that brought me to my knees in 2007, I think it was, yeah. And since then I've been sober, and I'm kind of talking about that in the book, and I'm pretty raw in the book about how I describe it. I want you to feel what I felt. And when I came back to New York after the rehab I was in, Swedish television contacted me to do a show, and it was the Swedish New York Housewives, which is the same as New York Housewives, but it was now Swedish New York Housewives. And throughout that show I talked about my story, and that's how the recovery coaching started, because people started asking me for help. And in New York State, we have a certification program, which I took, and now I am a trainer myself. So I train recovery coaches. And so I'm going to Sweden to set up training, which doesn't exist yet. So this is very exciting. Yeah.
And can I tell them that in Sweden, you're already kind of a celebrity, not for the rock and roll, but also you were a part of the Real Housewives of Sweden?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And that was way before all our Real Housewives came about, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I did have a name there, which was easier, of course, to get my book published and get it out there.
Right. And the book is doing it. I have no idea what it says, but I see her postings on Facebook, and it's like she's on the cover of magazines, and she's featured, and it's really doing well.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
What do you think really attributes to that great success?
I think it is because I'm not holding back in the book. I'm really honest with the feelings, and I'm not really placating it. I'm very, when you read it, it's a tough read because it's very graphic.
Really?
Yeah, and when I was in Sweden doing the book tour, one of the journalists, very well-to-do journalist on television there, said that when she read the book, she almost threw up. And for me, it was, but that for me was like, it actually was. It was a compliment.
Your book made me throw up.
Yeah, it was a compliment because it's exactly what I wanted writing the book. I wanted you to feel what I felt and not just read it as, oh, poor person, but wow, you know, I feel it when I'm with you. So it was actually the best compliment I ever got, that she felt that way, because I felt my words actually got you.
Yeah, got her. Yeah.
So I think that's why, because there's so many books out there about alcoholism and addiction and so forth, which are fantastic and very important, that there is none out there that I've read so far that brings you with that person in a graphic experience of not just drugs and alcohol, but cutting, sex addiction. You know, it's a very gooey book.
Really, that's why I asked the question, because it seems like it is just. It seems like everyone was waiting for you to write that book.
Yeah.
And as soon as she did, she's in magazines and she's all over the place. Now, when is the English translation coming?
I don't live in Sweden, so for me it was very easy to write it in Sweden and kind of like, I don't
send
live
it away.
there. Yeah, exactly. To write it in English and have it published in America, it's a little bit of a different story because I live here. So
so when you move to another country,
yes,
we'll get the English version.
Yes. But I am going to translate it. I just have to live with it for a little while.
Well, I think maybe you did it the right way. You did it in Sweden, and you can leave whenever you want.
Exactly, it's over there.
So, is there, if you had to attribute, and I haven't read the book obviously because I don't read in that language, but if you had to attribute, what was it really? What they always say? It's like going, getting rock bottom, and then realizing, you know what, the only way up is up, or was there any specific thing or characteristic that you had that made it?
I think it is, rock bottom is so different from each person. Rock bottom for me was that I broke all the morals and values that I was brought up with. Like I start stealing. That is so far away from how I was brought up. So when I started that and start doing illegal activities, that was my rock bottom. Like I couldn't believe that I did things that I did. Yeah. And so for me, it wasn't that I slept on, I was homeless. It wasn't like that, but it was, I started to doing things that was so against my morals or values. So yes, some people do need to reach the rock bottom, and some people don't. It could just be enough.
It's just a line that you crossed. It's like, okay, that's, now I'm in trouble. Now I'm in trouble.
Or just knowing there is a different way. Some people don't know that they can be sober. They don't know they cannot not drink. They just don't know. So they have to. So a recovery coach can coach them to knowing better. And that could take 1 second or a lifetime.
I have to tell you two unique things that I think it's unique. Now you can tell me if I'm wrong, but Janique is always flying off somewhere for an intervention, and someone will call her and go, my daughter's in a hotel room and she's really bad, and she'll just go and talk to this person out. And it's not, and I used to work for Phoenix House, and I know that it's not only getting off drugs, it's staying off drugs, and she has this whole program where it's like a follow-up. She will hound you to death.
Exactly.
But also giving moral support while she's doing it. And I think that's very unique. I know like Phoenix House does that, but there's a point where they cut them loose. I'm not sure if you ever really, I think you're always accessible to these people that you're helping.
I am. It's a lifetime for me. Yeah. And I think that's really important, because I think that to get help and stay healthy and stay sober, you need the support, and I think that you need support of other people that have been going through the same things, but that will stay in contact with you. So if I don't hear from people, they'll hear from me. So I'm like you said, I'm on you. And I think that's incredibly helpful, and I think that's it just makes us happier as people and feel we're part of. And so I think recovery coaching and the way I work and the way I like to work is it's a lifelong love affair.
Yeah. It's interesting because I do some pro bono work with Career Gear, which you joined me on the workshop. And I remember that one guy was telling me, well, he finally got out of jail and he knew he was going to go straight. And, he's waiting for the train, and suddenly he finds out he needs a Metro card. And he goes, what is a Metro card? Just little things like that. And it's like, that could actually go, oh my God, I'm just too far behind.
Yeah.
So you do that also. It's like, what do you need to move out? What do you need? What relationship do you need to get rid of? And just an amazing, I can't believe you're one person, actually.
That's why I'm training other people.
Yes, please. You need to.
No, I think that's what it is, exactly what you're saying. It's when you get back into your normal life again, that's where the triggers are.
Yeah.
That's when you relapse. That's when
you're
like, I can't do this anymore.
Jail sort of has its boundaries, and as does a rehab, It's like
absolutely. Rehab is a beautiful place for 28 days or 90 days or whatever it is. But then you get back home and you're married to the same person, you have the same kids, you have the same work, but hopefully you have the same.
Yeah.
And so it's that's where you need someone to help you.
That's where the real work comes in.
Absolutely.
And that's what you do. In addition to dragging them out of the hotel room and saying, okay, now what do you need? Yeah.
When they're close to death. I mean, that's when when intervention comes.
Yeah.
Handy.
It's handy to have a recovery coach at that point. Yes. Yeah. Well, congratulations on you being so available to everybody since 2007? You said that's when you started your trip. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What we're going to do, because she's that risky kind of person, we're just going to, usually what I'll do is I'll let the people pick a card before they come on, and then we can base the whole, she's just going to pick a card, and we'll see what the show's going to be about. Yeah. And you know what, I think Janique and I both, that's how we didn't meet. We met through ICF, but we did some follow-up work with Points of View. And I think we both trust the cards so much that it's like, okay, what the heck, how bad could it be? So go for it, Janique. What card is calling you?
This one is. It's been there calling me the whole day.
Innovation.
Innovation.
It's a scary little card, actually. I don't even know if we can explain it, but it's a lot of technical stuff put on a person's face, right? And good, we're going to have a close-up. Y'all can figure out what it is, because I'm not sure. But it's innovation.
It's like a doll or something.
It's a doll who's been given big eyes, and and a nose. I see a nose.
Yes, and I see things coming out of the head.
Let's hope those are good things.
Yes.
So, all right, what you're going to do with innovation, pray tell.
Innovation. For me, what it comes up right now is to take my training that I'm doing here in America and innovate it and change it to the Swedish market.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I have to kind of be flexible.
Dance a little. What are the differences? That's interesting. What are the differences between the American market and the Swedish market?
Cash.
Who has the most?
American market.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You see, the recovery in America is almost all private pay. So someone pay for me, will pay privately. In Sweden, we don't pay privately to get help. So the state will come and send you to rehab, and they will pay for it.
Okay.
So recovery coaching, they are kind of not ready for, because
you have to convince them that it's a legitimate.
Right, exactly, and the state should pay for this. So I'm going to have to innovate new ways.
What do you have up your sleeve? Anything?
Well, yes, my card up my sleeve, I guess, is to say that even though the state might not pay for specifically something called recovery coach, it should be
give it a new name.
Yes, exactly. Or it should be innovated and added to services, because it will help people stay sober for a longer time, hopefully a lifetime, and that will actually save money.
Now, in America, it's almost, I don't want to say it's, I don't want to say it's almost chic to have an addiction problem, but it is chic to have a recovery coach. My goodness,
Yes.
how avant-garde and innovative. So, how is that the same atmosphere in Sweden?
No.
No, what's the difference?
The stigma of addiction is much greater in Sweden.
Really?
Yes, people don't ask for help. They don't say, I
Wow.
am an alcoholic or I have a problem with addiction. They won't.
No.
It will be all secret that they do things. So that's also something that I'm trying to do, is to reduce the stigma in Sweden.
Wow. So first of all, you're going to have to find innovative ways to have people ask for help because they don't do that. And then innovative ways to get it paid for.
Yes, exactly.
Well, why don't you take on a few more challenges?
Write a new book.
Yeah. There you go. You can always do that.
Yeah.
So what do you foresee as the biggest challenge? So when you go, I mean, are you actually going to say, look, I want to build a clinic, or have people indicated they want you to?
No, that's my biggest goal, is to actually open up an American a treatment center that works like American treatment centers work, because we don't have that. And so that's my goal. That's my long-term goal. So I think that my little goals are to get people to wake up, to get people not being afraid.
Well, your book is step number one.
Step number one.
It's like, if I could live through this, you can live through what you're going through. Yeah.
So I think that's my first step, and my first hurdle or bridge, or whatever you like to call it, is to actually convince people to at least try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in Sweden, if you do, say, have an addiction problem, you hide it, you deal with it. What happens if you're afraid to ask for help? What happens
usually
next?
it's the company you work for that would say something.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they by law have to get you help. So you have to go to a therapist then. And then the therapist will say, I think you have an alcoholic problem, let's say. You need to go to treatment. But it takes a long time until you get to treatment. It can take weeks, months. It could take a long time. And you can die during that time.
Yeah.
Because I know how I was. And, another year or so I wouldn't be alive of the speed it went down. So, so for an alcoholic to seek help and not get help immediately, it could be death.
Do they have 12-step programs over there also?
They do.
They do?
Yeah,
Okay.
Like the stigma is still, you won't say, I'm going to 12-step.
You slink into it.
Right.
In disguise.
Right.
Yeah.
So you slink down. Here, it's kind of cool to have a 12-step
Hey,
program.
man, I got a meeting. I'll be back.
Yeah. Now we have 12-step programs, 4 12-step programs. It's like we're going to too
everybody.
many.
It's very chic to have a 12-step program. Now, what's your problem
everybody
is?
goes to something.
Yes, exactly.
Which I think is brilliant. But in Sweden, we haven't got there yet. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, and again, because let's just see, because according to, this card also has a corresponding story, which we won't bother reading.
Look at this alcohol.
I know, it's so funny. I've never seen anything like it, It has a picture of a bottle, and that's kind of innovation. I think this is your card. But we always know when you draw, it's your card. But it also, the card also comes with quotes. So let's just play around with some of the quotes and see if it one is from John C. Maxwell. I think he wrote Thinking for a Change. And it's like, many people tend to adopt the behavior of others almost automatically. They simply believe that it would be smarter to do what others are doing. So how does that apply to addiction?
Well, when you just said it now, I feel like if I can get, not just me, but if we can change, like we were talking about the 12 steps meetings here in America,
right?
When everybody's doing it, so I need to do it too. Now that's a good thing.
Oh, that's a good thing. Yes, to make it more mainstream.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's when you read that, I thought, that's perfect. Because just getting people to talk about it in Sweden, and that the hip people or the people, you know what I mean? Like maybe people in media will say, I go to 12 steps. So everybody was one, I want to go. So that's what I thought when you read that.
That's interesting because actually Elizabeth Vargas, I think of ABC News, just came out last night that she had been struggling with alcoholism for so long. And she said it was exhausting trying to hide it. Just trying to hide it. Not even doing it. Just trying not to let people know.
That's someone that is trying to hide it. Just look at people that don't hide it, like Bieber or you know, Lohan or all these superstars that are smacked on the cover of magazines, drunk or totally wasted, or Britney Spears that cut her hair and you know,
did all the crazy, did all the crazy things.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another one is the new always carries with it the sense of violation, of sacrilege. What is dead is sacred. What is new, that is different. It's evil, dangerous, or subversive. That's Henry Miller. Wow.
I'm not really sure I understood it.
The new always carries with it the sense of violation.
Ah, yes, the fear of the new.
Yeah, of sacrilege. What is dead is sacred. What is new, that is delivered, is evil.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh my God. So is that saying that if you were, all your friends are alcoholics, you go to the bar every night, to say, you know what, you can't do that anymore. Instead, you're going to go take a cooking class. I mean, would that be fearful? Would that be just because it's changed and different?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, when I went to treatment the first time, my doctor said to me, or actually last time, my doctor said to me, you have to change one thing. I was like, yes, just one thing.
I can do that.
Everything.
Really?
And I was like, no, please.
That wasn't funny.
Yeah. But he was right. I thought I'm never going to go into a bar again. I'm never going to sit with all these people and have big glasses of red wine and drink it, which I loved.
Yeah.
But the great thing was, and what Recovery Coaches does, is to find ways or find things that you actually like to do. Sitting in a bar, getting drunk, was actually not that fun.
I agree.
But in my mind, I thought it was.
Yeah.
But I needed someone else.
And then you keep drinking to make it fun, right? It's
and you're not, because you don't even remember like what happened that night. Or, how you got home, you know. So it's an interesting phenomenon how our brain messes with us and how addiction really messes up and just tells us lies. So that is a great saying, because the changes are almost always good. It's very rare a change is a bad thing. And if it is, you can stop and change again. So the fear of the future is actually really good fear. It's just that our minds might say, oh, but it's not, you know,
this is my comfort zone. But what is that thing that I see all the time? It's your real life begins just outside your comfort zone, right? That's right. So you just have to push it a little bit.
That's right.
Yeah, and all change is fearful. I mean, just moving to get out of that, you know, that, I'm going to say a rut.
Yeah.
It's a rut, especially if you're into the addiction thing. Well, let's take one from, let's see. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Okay. This is just this is her. This should be her little motto that she puts on the front of her. Yeah.
Exactly. Wow, that's a good one. I'm going to social market that later.
Yes, page 131. I think Ralph Waldo Emerson said it first, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind if you used it.
I quote him. Yeah, no, that's a good one.
Isn't it?
It's a great one. Why follow when you can be the one that being followed? Absolutely.
And I think what Janique's goal is to sort of help you, you know, like I'll walk with you. I've been there. I'll show you, you know, but you've got to create your own path, really.
Yeah, exactly. I'll hold your hand until you don't need me anymore. And that's really how
and if you slip and fall,
I'll be there.
I'll come back. Yeah. So what are you in the process of not changing? Are you in the process of training other people to help you? Because this is, I never quite know how you do everything that you do.
Right now, I'm not. Right now, I'm doing it myself, and it's because I need a secretary that has Swedish language, you know, because I work so much towards Sweden, and I haven't found that yet. That lives in New York.
Anybody out there?
Call me.
Yes.
So right now, I haven't done that, but in Sweden, I will have recovery coaches that I will train and be with, and that can help me do this. Because I don't want to stop in Sweden. Sweden just happens to be my language,
sure,
and it's where I wrote my book. But Norway, Denmark, France, Australia, Dubai, it's everywhere.
It is.
And recovery coaches hasn't gotten there yet.
Well, I know we in Phoenix House we used to say business is booming and always will be. There will always be someone who has either and unfortunately we would see sometimes that people would trade one addiction for the other.
Yes.
It's like, okay, I'm off heroin.
All the time.
Hand me that beer.
Or internet. Or food.
Or sex.
Or sex. Or gambling.
Gambling is a big one too. Yeah.
So.
Amazing. So I think innovation was probably a perfect card for you, because that I think you spent so much time since 2007, first recreating your life and then innovating, like, okay, this, and it's kind of like when I became a coach, it was like, this is too good, I have to share it. And I think that's the feeling of just being in control. And so if someone, I'm not encouraging people in hotel rooms to call her, but but they do anyway. But so if someone wanted to get in touch with you or talk about recovery, would it be oh, I don't see the. Never mind. It won't be the website. So tell us what the website is. Whoops.
So it would be
It won't be me. Don't call me. Walking into no, that's true. I will definitely get you too, Janique. But
so it's my name. Is that up?
No.
Okay.
It was.
Then it's not that easy because my name isn't that easy.
We'll spell it.
Here we go. There it is. So Janique Svedberg.com. And my email address is the same. So it's Janique@JaniqueSvedberg.com.
Okay.
But I also have, just to make it easier here in America, I have also Janique at Road to Recovery.
Much easier.
NYC.com.
So
Road to Recovery NYC.com.
Okay.
So it's a little bit easier because my name isn't so easy.
No, it's lovely though, Janique. I think the favorite title of that was Janique's Boutique. As
Janique's Boutique, that's perfect.
That was so perfect. I'm sorry that didn't keep up. That would have been nice down there. So what do you see? We've got like 2 minutes. What do you see in the future for you? I know that you said you're going to Sweden and you're going to do some innovative things there. But what do you see when you come back here? What are you going to do? Because what I would love is for you to come back and tell us what you did in Sweden. I know it'll be 5,000 different things.
I want to do the same here. I want to do the recovery training. There are so much in New York, but the rest of America.
But you know what again, and I'm going to say, because I was in that field for a while, they're in New York, but I don't think anybody takes the care that you take for the aftercare.
That's what
I mean. The concern, it's like, yes, they'll get you off drugs, absolutely, because they're going to put you in a place where there are no drugs. So your choice is to either run or stay. But it's the after thing, and I think that would, and I don't only think it applies to addiction, I think it's like also for incarceration and whatever other...
Incarceration for sure. Also, they're coming back from the army. If you're coming overseas, and also for the family. We can't forget the family, because it's all of the family members need to work with that recovery coach to refocus the whole entire family, and that's for everybody.
What a big job!
So addiction, prison. The army, any time where it's it's
what a huge job you've taken on, and my thought is, if anybody can do it, it's you. But don't forget to get some help.
Yes, thank you.
So we're going to be thinking about you when you're in Sweden, and we're going to make you come back as soon as you can. I want to thank you so much for being my guest tonight. As always, fascinating.
Thank you.
Janique Svedberg, find her.
Thank you.